Have you ever noticed how one single thought in the morning can change the course of your entire day? It's true. The first words you speak to yourself when you wake up, they're not just whispers in your mind, they're orders to your future. Good morning. Before anything else today, before your feet hit the floor, before you grab your phone, before the world bombards you with messages and expectations, pause. Because how you start your morning will decide how your whole day unfolds. If you wake up feeling defeated, chances are that sense of defeat will follow you. It'll seep into your actions, your words, your energy. But if you wake up with determination, if you breathe life into your spirit, declare your strength, and choose your mindset with purpose, then nothing can truly stand in your way. Every single morning, before the noise of the outside world creeps in, you have one sacred moment of power. That moment is yours. And in that moment, you must remind yourself of who you are. Not who the world tells you to be, not what yesterday made you feel like, but who you really are inside. Why is this so important? Because your mindset is the silent architect of your reality. It silently shapes every interaction, every challenge, and every result you experience throughout the day. When your first thoughts are soaked in negativity or self-doubt, it's like starting the day with a weight chained to your chest. That heaviness colors everything, your choices, your reactions, even how you perceive the world. But when you choose to start with intention, gratitude in your heart, belief in your soul, and purpose in your eyes, you activate a power within you that's unstoppable. That energy becomes your shield and your magnet. It repels what doesn't serve you, and it draws in exactly what you need. Think back to those mornings where everything already felt overwhelming the second you opened your eyes. Maybe you barely slept. Maybe your mind started racing with everything you still have to do, or every worry still unresolved. That flood of stress, that's your mind setting the tone for the entire day. But here's a truth worth remembering. Your first thought directs your focus. If you begin the day with frustration, you'll find frustration everywhere. But if your first thought is filled with hope, courage, or even just the belief that you can handle what's ahead, then that becomes your fuel. You don't have to wait for your circumstances to improve. You just have to choose a better starting point. Because the most successful people in the world, they don't wait for everything to be perfect. They wake up and decide to be better. They reset every morning. They train their minds to look for growth, to believe in possibility, and to operate from faith rather than fear. They don't let yesterday's pain dictate today's potential. They don't let last night's failure poison today's hope. Every morning you have two choices. You can react to life, or you can create it. If your thoughts are like seeds, then the morning is the soil. What you plant, doubt or confidence, fear or faith, will grow throughout the day. So, what will you plant today? So remember, your thoughts are the seeds, and your morning is the soil. What you plant at the start of your day will grow into the reality you live. But what happens when life throws storms at your garden? Some people let obstacles define them. Others use those same obstacles as fuel. What makes the difference? It's not luck. It's not talent. It's not even the challenge itself. It's the mindset behind the response. Picture this. Two people face the same storm. One feels defeated, buried under pressure. The other stands tall, using that very pressure to grow stronger. The difference isn't the weather. It's the weather within. A resilient mindset turns setbacks into setups. It sees failure not as the end, but as a redirection. It transforms struggle into strength. People who've trained their minds don't crumble under pressure. They don't waste time pointing fingers or waiting for circumstances to change. They take ownership. They take responsibility. And most importantly, they keep moving forward. These are the people who wake up with discipline in their hearts, gratitude in their words, and belief in their eyes. They understand that each day is a new page, a fresh chance to move closer to the life they envision. And because they carry that mindset, the right doors begin to open. The right people start showing up. Opportunities find them, not by chance, but by alignment. Too often, we're taught to believe that success is reserved for the lucky, the naturally talented, the well-connected. But the truth is, before talent, before timing, before any external advantage, success begins in the mind. If you don't believe you can win, you've already lost. If you don't believe you're capable, you won't even try. And if you don't believe you deserve better, you'll keep settling for less. That's the power of belief. That's the foundation of every transformation. Once you learn to control your thoughts, nothing outside of you can truly control your life. And here's something powerful that amplifies your mindset even more: gratitude. Gratitude isn't just about saying thank you. It's a complete shift in perspective. When you choose to focus on what you do have instead of what you lack, you begin to radiate an energy that attracts more goodness into your life. Sadly, many people wake up thinking only of what's missing, what they didn't achieve, what they wish they had. That scarcity mindset traps them, keeps them looking down instead of forward. It blinds them to the possibilities right in front of them. But when you start your day with gratitude, your entire lens changes. You start noticing things, small things, beautiful things, things that were always there, but hidden behind the fog of negativity. Think back for a moment. When was the last time you truly felt grateful? Maybe it was a quiet evening with family, a kind word from a stranger, a breath of fresh air after a long day. In those moments, you weren't consumed by what you lacked. You were connected to what mattered. Gratitude grounds you. It shifts you from a mindset of scarcity to one of abundance. And when you operate from abundance, you begin to attract abundance. Not just in material things, but in peace, in love, in purpose. People who live with daily gratitude see the world differently. They're not blind to pain or challenges, but they don't let those things define them. They understand that even on the hardest days, there's always something to be thankful for. They say, "I'm grateful for this new day, even when yesterday was filled with struggle." They say, "I'm thankful for the lessons, even when life didn't go as planned." Gratitude is a decision, a conscious one. And the most powerful people, they make that decision every single morning. What's more, it changes how you respond to pain. When you lead with gratitude, challenges stop feeling like punishments. They start becoming teachers. You stop asking, "Why me?" and start asking, "What is this here to show me?" Because life isn't just about what happens to you, it's about how you choose to see it. Gratitude doesn't just change your mindset, it changes the lens through which you see your entire life. And when that lens is clear, even the toughest moments can reveal hidden beauty. Instead of feeling stuck, you begin to reflect on how far you've already come. You no longer dwell on what's missing, because you've trained yourself to focus on what's present. And when you live from that space of perspective, life doesn't break you so easily. Why? Because you're no longer searching for reasons to give up. You're constantly finding reasons to keep going. That's the quiet magic of gratitude. It multiplies the good in your life. When you sincerely appreciate what you already have, you create a mindset that invites more clarity, more peace, more opportunities. On the other hand, people who constantly complain, those who focus only on what's missing, who wake up every day in dissatisfaction, they unintentionally block their own blessings. Their mindset builds a wall between them and the life they desire. But people who wake up each day and say thank you, even in the middle of uncertainty, those people, they receive more, not because of luck, but because their energy welcomes it. It's not magic, it's mindset. The way you think shapes the way you act, and the way you act shapes what you attract. Some of the happiest, most fulfilled people in the world didn't get there because everything went their way. They got there because they chose to be grateful no matter what. They didn't wait until every goal was reached or every wound was healed. They didn't postpone joy. They chose to be thankful for the process, not just the prize. And that attitude opened more doors than they could have imagined. But gratitude doesn't just change your life. It changes the lives around you. When you show appreciation for others, you strengthen your connections. When you're thankful for the chances life gives you, even the small ones, you tend to make the most of them. And when you walk through life with a thankful heart, people feel that energy. It draws others in. It makes them feel safe, seen, and uplifted. Because let's be honest, no one wants to be around someone who complains all the time, someone who drains every room with negativity and sees only what's missing. But someone who radiates gratitude, that person is magnetic. They inspire others. They create space for positivity to flourish. Of course, life will never be perfect. There will always be something you wish were different. There will always be a challenge to face, a problem to solve, or a scar still healing. But there will also always be something to be thankful for. The question is, what will you choose to focus on? Gratitude is a habit, and like any habit, it requires repetition, patience, and intention. But the more you practice it, the more natural it becomes. It's like strengthening a muscle. The more you train your brain to spot the good, the more good you'll begin to notice. It becomes a cycle of abundance. And here's one of the most powerful truths you'll ever learn. You control your happiness. Too many people wander through life thinking happiness is something that happens to them. Something that arrives when the stars align, when their job is perfect, their relationships smooth, their goals achieved. But happiness is not a reward for life going well. It's a decision, a choice you make every single day. You don't need a perfect life to be happy. Because no one's life is perfect. There will always be something out of place, some uncertainty, some disappointment. But what you can control is how you respond. You can choose to focus on the good. You can choose to seek out opportunity instead of obstacles. You can choose to take the reins of your emotions instead of letting them pull you in every direction. One of the biggest mistakes people make is tying their happiness to external conditions. If work is smooth, they smile. If someone compliments them, they feel worthy. If they get what they want, they feel complete. But the moment something falls apart, so does their inner peace. Happiness is not some distant reward. It doesn't come from having a perfect life. As you already know, it comes from the way you choose to see life, no matter what your circumstances may be. Too many people hand over their happiness without even realizing it. They let the careless words of others dictate their self-worth. They let small inconveniences, like a rude message, a missed bus, or a spilled coffee, completely ruin their mood. They give far too much power to things beyond their control, and in doing so, they give away their peace. But here's the truth. Your joy is your responsibility. No one else can guard it for you. That means waking up and deciding, no matter what happens today, you will not let anything steal your inner calm. It means actively refusing to let negativity settle into your thoughts like a fog. It means consciously choosing to focus on what's going right rather than what's going wrong. Sure, there will always be something to complain about, always a reason to feel discouraged. There will always be tempting excuses to give up, to stay stuck, to spiral. But there will also always be something worth smiling for, a reason to keep moving, a moment to feel thankful. The question is, which one will you choose to see? Many people think happiness is a result of success, but that idea has it backward. The truth is, success often follows happiness. The most fulfilled and accomplished people aren't waiting to finally have it all before they let themselves enjoy life. They bring joy into the work they do. They carry a mindset of enthusiasm, of purpose, of gratitude, before the outcome ever arrives. And that's exactly why success is drawn to them. They're not waiting to live in the energy of achievement. They're already radiating it. And that energy? It's contagious. When you walk into a room with genuine joy, you lift the atmosphere. When your spirit is grounded in peace and positivity, you attract connection. People want to be near the kind of person who lights up a space, not the one who dims it. On the other hand, if you're always complaining, always finding fault, always wrapped in negativity, you unknowingly repel the very things you wish for. The energy you send out is the energy that comes back to you. Let's be clear, happiness doesn't mean ignoring your problems or pretending everything's perfect. It means choosing not to let those problems define you. It means finding the lesson in the struggle, the resilience in the pain, the beauty in the climb. Every sunrise brings a new opportunity to choose. To choose joy over resentment. To choose faith over fear. To choose peace over pressure. Life is too short to spend waiting for happiness to appear like some kind of miracle. It's already within you, like a light waiting to be turned on. But here's the thing. You have to claim it. You have to protect it. You have to stop giving your joy away to people and circumstances that don't deserve that power. No matter what chaos may be swirling outside of you, you still hold the ability to decide how you will respond. And that decision, that's where true happiness begins. One of the most powerful mindset shifts you can make is this. Stop comparing your journey to someone else's. Focus on progress, not comparison. Far too many people fall into the trap of measuring their worth by someone else's highlight reel. They scroll through social media or hear about someone's success and immediately think, "Why not me? What am I doing wrong?" But here's the problem. Comparison is never fair. You're comparing your behind the scenes, the struggles, the doubts, the silent battles, to someone else's best moments, carefully chosen and beautifully presented. You don't see their failures, their sleepless nights, their sacrifices. You only see the surface, and then you start feeling like you're behind, like you're failing, like you'll never catch up. But the truth? Your journey is yours, and it's not supposed to look like anyone else's, as long as you're growing, as long as you're moving forward. Even if it's just a single step, you're exactly where you need to be. When you stop comparing and start focusing on your own growth, everything begins to change. Because at the end of the day, life isn't a race, it's a journey, and every step forward counts. You are winning, right now, in ways you might not even realize. Progress is what truly matters, not how fast someone else got there, not how shiny their achievements look on the outside. What matters is this: you are better today than you were yesterday, even if it's just one new insight, even if it's just a single step forward. That, in itself, is victory. When you focus on progress, you liberate yourself from the invisible weight of comparison. You stop constantly measuring your worth against someone else's timeline, and instead, you start noticing your own quiet triumphs, the way you've grown, the way you've overcome, the way you've kept going. But beware, comparison is more than just a distraction. It can become a trap so powerful that it convinces people to quit on themselves. You start thinking, if I can't be as good as them, why even bother trying? That thought, it's a thief. It steals your drive before you've even begun. It freezes your potential. It makes you believe you're behind, when in truth, you're simply on a different path. Progress is deeply personal. It's not about being the best, it's about being your best. The only person you need to be better than is the person you were yesterday. If you constantly measure yourself against others, you'll always feel like you're falling short. There will always be someone with more followers, more talent, more recognition. But if you measure yourself against your own potential, you will always find fuel to keep going. The key is to set goals based on where you want to go, not where someone else already is. And don't wait for a big breakthrough to feel proud. Celebrate your small wins. Every step forward matters. Every act of courage, every lesson learned, every time you kept going when it would have been easier to quit, that's what real success is built on. Tiny victories, stacked over time, become massive transformation. And one of the most powerful, Ways to stay rooted in your own journey. Practice gratitude. When you appreciate what you have, you stop obsessing over what you don't. You begin to see that you're already blessed, already capable, already on the right path. Gratitude helps. You realize that your story is unfolding exactly as it should. No faster, no slower, just right. Everyone's timeline is different. Some people hit their peak early, others bloom later. But the timing doesn't matter. Consistency does. If you spend your life chasing someone else's idea of success, you'll always feel empty. But if you dedicate yourself to daily growth, to learning, evolving, and rising, you'll discover a success that's not just satisfying. It's soul-deep. And at the heart of all of it is belief. Believing in your own worth is the foundation for everything you desire. Because if you don't believe you deserve happiness, opportunities, or greatness, you'll never chase after them with the heart and courage they require. Too many people talk themselves out of success before they even try. They let doubt whisper lies. You're not smart enough. You're not talented enough. You're not worthy enough. But those are just stories. Stories written by fear, not truth. The real truth? The only limits that exist are the ones you've accepted. Your mind is incredibly powerful. If you keep telling yourself, I can't, then you won't. You won't even take the first step. You'll settle. You'll shrink. You'll stay stuck. But if you start speaking life into your own heart, if you begin telling yourself, I'm capable, I am worthy, I deserve the good that's coming my way, then suddenly the path begins to clear. Not because the world changed, but because you did. Once you start believing in your worth, truly, deeply, everything about the way you show up in life begins to shift. Belief becomes the foundation that transforms hesitation into confidence and fear into forward motion. When you begin to believe that you are worthy, something powerful happens. You begin to live like it. You walk with more certainty. You speak with more purpose. You carry yourself in a way that silently tells the world, I know who I am. And that energy, it's magnetic. It draws the right people, the right opportunities, and the right momentum into your life. But for many, believing in themselves doesn't come easily. Why? Because they're still carrying the weight of the past, failures that cut deep, mistakes that haunt them, disappointments that left scars. They've let rejection and criticism shape their identity, as if those moments define their worth. But here's the truth. Failure does not mean you are unworthy. A setback does not erase your potential. You are not the worst thing that ever happened to you. Every person you admire, every success story you've ever heard was once full of doubt, too. The difference is, they didn't let the doubt win, they felt it. They heard those inner voices whispering, You're not enough. But they pushed through anyway. They kept believing. They kept building. They kept showing up, especially when it was hard. Because success always begins with one quiet, bold belief. I'm meant for more. If you don't believe you deserve something better, you'll keep settling for less. You'll accept jobs that drain you. You'll stay in relationships that dim your light. You'll say yes to opportunities that fall far below your potential just to feel safe. But the moment you recognize your worth, everything begins to change. You raise your standards. You stop tolerating situations that don't align with your vision. You start walking away from what doesn't serve you and creating space for what does. Here's something to remember. The way you see yourself teaches the world how to treat you. If you show up with confidence, people will treat you with respect. If you speak from belief in your abilities, others will begin to believe too. But if you doubt yourself, if you shrink to fit in, if you second-guess your voice and your value, the world will mirror that hesitation right back to you. People feel how you feel about yourself, and they respond to that energy, whether you realize it or not. That's why it's not just helpful, but essential, to affirm your worth every single day, to look in the mirror and say, I am valuable, I am talented, I am capable. Even on the days when you don't fully believe it, especially on those days, because believing in your success also means this: stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for someone else to declare you ready. Stop waiting for the perfect time, the perfect plan, the perfect path. There is no perfect moment. There is only now. Success doesn't belong to the people who wait. It belongs to those who move, to those who believe in themselves so fiercely that they're willing to take a risk, to stretch beyond their comfort zone, and to do the work even when it's hard. Yes, doubt will still be there. Fear will always whisper, but your job isn't to eliminate the fear. Your job is to keep moving anyway. Remind yourself, you are just as capable as anyone else. The people you admire, the ones who've built the life you dream of, they aren't superhuman. They didn't get lucky. They simply refused to quit. They believed in themselves, even when no one else did. They kept showing up, even when no one was watching, and because they believed, they succeeded. Everything you want in this life begins with one decision: the belief that you deserve it. The moment you truly believe in your worth, you stop settling. You stop apologizing for wanting more. You stop hesitating, and you start walking boldly in the direction of the life you were born to live. And through all of it, remember this: you're not walking alone. Life will throw storms at you: uncertainty, pain, delays, detours. You may wonder if things will ever fall into place. But even in the midst of chaos, there is peace to be found. When you place your faith in something higher, when you trust that God is holding your story, you begin to walk differently. You stop trying to control everything. You stop doubting every next step. You start to breathe, even in the storm, because deep down, you know this: God's got you. Always. Believing in your worth is the first step. Trusting in God's plan, that's where your peace begins. Because no matter how strong you were never meant to carry it all alone. Too often, we try to carry everything on our own. We hold tightly to stress that isn't ours to bear. We worry about the future as if worrying could control it. We lose sleep over problems that were never ours to fix. But that's not how faith was ever meant to work. Faith isn't about having all the answers. It's about learning to let go. It's about understanding deep in your soul that some battles aren't yours to fight because God is already handling them for you. When you trust Him, you don't have to figure everything out. You focus on what you can do while resting in the quiet confidence that He's working behind the scenes, arranging the unseen, aligning the details, orchestrating something greater than you could imagine. Yes, fear and doubt will still try to sneak in. There will be moments when your reality feels frozen, like your prayers are hitting the ceiling, like nothing is shifting, like you're stuck in the same place no matter how hard you try. But faith was never about what your eyes can see. Faith is about what your heart knows. It's believing that even when you can't see the full picture, God is still painting it. That, even when the road seems silent, He is speaking through every delay, because sometimes what feels like a setback is actually preparation. What feels like rejection is really protection. And what feels like the end is often the beginning of something greater. You will have moments when plans fall apart. When the door you were waiting on suddenly closes, when the opportunity you prayed for slips through your hands, and in those moments, frustration is natural. You might whisper to yourself, "Why? Why this path? Why that loss? Why now?" But every twist, every turn, every detour is part of a divine design. Because here's the truth: God doesn't make mistakes. If a door closed, it's because a better one is waiting, one you haven't seen yet. If something is removed from your life, it's because God is making space for something far more meaningful. And part of trusting God is trusting His timing. That might be the hardest part. We want things to happen now. Quick breakthroughs, instant results, clear answers. But just like a seed doesn't become a tree overnight, neither will your journey. There are seasons for everything. Seasons of waiting. Seasons of slow, quiet growth. And yes, seasons of breakthrough and bloom. Your job is to keep believing, to keep showing up, to keep trusting that everything is unfolding exactly as it should, even if you can't see it yet. Because when you put your trust in God, fear loses its grip, anxiety begins to loosen, you wake up with a different kind of strength, a calm, grounded confidence that doesn't come from knowing the outcome, but from knowing who walks with you. You face challenges with courage because you know you're not alone. You move through disappointment with grace because you know it's not the end of the story. That's what faith does. It gives you a peace that the world can't explain and circumstances can't shake. People who truly trust God, they don't just talk about faith, they live it. They keep moving forward even when the road is foggy. They keep building even when the results haven't arrived. They keep believing, even when the silence feels long. Because they understand one powerful truth. A delay is not a denial. They know that what's meant for them will never miss them. That no person, no circumstance, no timing mishap can steal what God has written for them. And no matter where you are right now, no matter how heavy your heart may feel, you need to remind yourself, you are being guided, you are not lost, you are not forgotten, you are being prepared for something greater. When you stop trying to control every outcome, when you release your grip and open your hands to God's plan, you'll begin to see things fall into place in ways you never imagined, not because you forced it, but because you finally trusted and let go. So as this message comes to an end, remember this: you don't need the perfect day to feel powerful. You just need the right mindset to begin it. Every morning is an invitation to believe again, to rise again, to choose yourself again. If today's words lit something inside you, don't let that fire fade. Hit the like button to let us know it resonated. Subscribe to Motivation Hub Rise and turn on notifications, so every sunrise you rise stronger, wiser, and more grounded. And we'd love to hear from you in the comments. What will you tell yourself tomorrow morning? Thank you for walking this journey with us. Let's keep rising together.